Back. We are following big political news this morning that could affect the midterms and the way this country is governed moving forward. Now, as we've been reporting, voters in Kansas rejected an effort to restrict abortion in the state. Kansas is one of several states that held primaries on Tuesday. And for more on this, I am joined now by NewsNation political editor Chris Stirewalt. And Chris, we're going to get to Kansas in just a moment. But if I say to you that Arizona is too close to call, do you have flashbacks and does your eye twitch?
Well, no, that was one of the bossest moves of all time when the decision desk at Fox News beat the competition on that call. So no, those are good feelings. Those
are good feelings. Okay, we're going to get back to Arizona in just a moment, but the first question here is about abortion in Kansas. It's one of the hottest issues in America right now. Voters head to the polls, and it's a very red state out there, and they chose to leave the abortion rights that were granted by a constitutional judge's ruling in the Constitution there, as opposed to allowing lawmakers to eventually take it out. That's what they were voting on. So what do you make of deep red state protecting abortion rights?
So the thing about abortion is it is a discussion dominated by activists at both extremes, like a lot of things in American politics, but it's dominated by these activists who talk about these issues in terms that are foreign or unhappy to most mainstream voters. The reality is, and we've seen this in Florida, we've seen this in Georgia with Republican governors, there's certainly Republican voters and red.
All right, it looks like we were having some issues with Chris Stirewalt there. Never love it when technology fails you, do you? We're going to move on now. Oh, we have him? Is he back? Let's bring him back up. Chris, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right,
you missed all of my great insights.
We missed all of the pithy, great insight that you said. So where did you leave off? What did you want to restart? Well, or should I ask you about something else?
No, the important thing to take away on abortion is, for Republicans, they should take the warning here that there is a lot of interest among Americans in banning late-term abortion and all of those other things. But even in a red state, you have to proceed cautiously because this is not an issue that people are comfortable with extreme answers on. So this is about finding consensus, and this is about finding a new way to do business in a post-Roe world.
So in the Missouri Republican Senate primary, Eric wins. So former President Trump, he kind of nailed it and he kind of didn't because both candidates are named Eric. But this was Eric Schmitt, the former Attorney General. What does that say about, I mean, I guess Missourians are repudiating their former governor who had to resign in disgrace and then ran for Senate. But what else does it tell us?
Well, look, this is very good news, whether you're a Democrat or whether you're a Republican. Eric Greitens, who resigned in disgrace and who has been accused of child abuse, of a number of really rotten things, that this guy is not somebody that the Republican Party wants to be associated with, that this guy finished third, is good news. Eric Schmitt, who I think everybody would agree is pretty close to a lock, or at least strongly favored in the fall. That's good political news for Republicans, but it's also just good news that Greitens, who is this, again, very fringe, very unpleasant figure, that this guy was repudiated, says something good about the direction the Republican Party might be moving in.
Chris, now back to Arizona. The Republican gubernatorial primary between Karen Taylor Robson and Kari Lake is still too close to call. And again, we know you have some history with Arizona, and you know what you're talking about because you got that right working for another outlet that we're not going to mention right now. What do you make of this too close to call race right now? Karen Taylor Robson was up early. Now Kari Lake has taken the lead. More votes are coming in from Maricopa County.
Well, look, the team at Decision Desk HQ it does expert work for us here at NewsNation, and I'm not going to get out in front of them. But I will only say this: this is a intensely close race, and given the fact, maybe I would say it this way: if I am Lake, I'm looking over at the Senate race where the sort of election denier, mega MAGA candidate came out ahead. Maybe I'm looking at that for some encouragement. But this race is definitely still too close to call, and we will be watching it throughout the day and if it takes longer than that, we'll be watching.
Well, and I think, though, that this is what Kari Lake wants. She wants a close race so she can cry fraud and continue to stay on TV.
Well, TV is wonderful, but I think what she really would want would be to win.
Well, that makes sense too.
And the funny thing about the election denier folks and all of that is it's good until you're ahead, and then once you're ahead, you say, "Well, now wait a minute, hold on, maybe we should stay here." So we'll see what happens. But in Arizona, the Republicans have some real tests coming because of their choices. That a plurality in their party is backing, basically relitigating the 2020 election. That's good news for Mark Kelly. That's good news for the former Democratic, or I guess the current Democratic Secretary of State, who's the Democratic nominee for governor. It is conceivable that even in a good Republican year, in a Republican state, that the GOP could screw up a couple of very winnable races, and maybe one of the races that will determine control of the United States Senate. We will see, but this is, as you say, this is the epicenter in a lot of ways of the trouble that Republicans have been having since November of 2020.
And that's why we saved the best for last. Chris Stirewalt, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
You bet.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.